Guys, well, we're out on a hike today. It is gorgeous, and I'm noticing pretty close to the beginning there's this little thing here, but something really amazing. It's that right there. Look at that beauty. And I'm gonna have a look at the top of it. You can see it's kind of tucked underneath that log. Look at that. Beautiful. There's more stuff going on behind it too. Strangely, interestingly broken tree right there. A little further down we have this amazing break. That's probably 20 feet up. Wow. Wow, look at that. Look at that's just interesting. I'm already spotting another arch. I don't know if I can get to it, but see if I can just see it through the brush. Right through there, there's two beautiful ones through that thick stuff, if you can see that. Hopefully you can see that right there. Gorgeous. To say it is starting off interesting would be a slight understatement. Look at all those trees kind of right there gather around that big one. That's cool. And that sort of break right there, bend. Not bend, that's a break. But it's not really snap, it's just kind of bent. There's a tree that's leaning. There we have, it looks like a tree kind of in the shape of an upside down V, with another tree that's kind of bent into it. That's amazing. Look at that. Bold. And there's that one. Look at it. Interesting how these are broken. Wow. A couple trees kind of joined together up top. It's like a big X almost, with the sun coming through. How gorgeous. Wow. See, that one's broken there. Beautiful bend. Love those. Wanted to share a story that I heard. I was listening to a channel called Cryptids Canada, and someone wrote in about the title was Mentally Ill. I forget what it is. I'll put a picture of the video somewhere here so you can see it. And it's a really fascinating story. Left me with a lot of questions. There was this apparently mentally ill girl who just didn't act normal by most standards, who one day the author of the story saw that girl named Bonnie outside acting completely normal, speaking with a large Sasquatch. Otherwise, apparently she just, didn't act the way that people call normal. Man, that had me fascinated. Like, she said that they were speaking a different language that she didn't understand. And this is like the only time when this girl Bonnie acts normal. What is up with that, you know? Pretty cool scenery. while I tell this piece of the story. You can go hear the whole thing if you want. So then there was like a part 2, and the mother, I believe, of Bonnie, they called her Mima, talked about Bonnie's sister one day growing up when Bonnie's sister was 3 and Mima was pregnant with Bonnie. Bonnie's sister, I forget her name, was just out sitting on the grass, whatever, and suddenly Mima, her mother, sees a large Sasquatch like standing over a child, and she just like loses it and passes out or something, falls over. And after all that, she went over, after she fell, when she looked over, she saw the Sasquatch walking away. And so she's obviously freaked out. She doesn't know what's happening. And I don't know. Looks like a print almost. So she goes over to check on her daughter, who just had the big Sasquatch standing over her. And she sees a crushed copperhead on the ground. So she kind of went from being completely freaked out, like, oh my goodness, what is happening over there? Like, you know, is he gonna take her or kill her or something? To, did he just save her life? And in the story, it was said that she believes that he did save her daughter's life. Well, apparently, as a result of her fall in that moment of fright, there were pregnancy complications, and Bonnie was born with brain damage. And that's a little more of the backstory of Bonnie, who apparently speaks to them in a language that the author did not understand. And man, I just wondered about that. Of course, the first question is it true? But then, if it is true, I've got lots of questions. What were they talking about? It's just amazing. I've heard of quite a few experiences shared where there was a in-depth conversation that transpired through the person telling the story and Sasquatch. So it's pretty neat. I might even look through and see if there's like a follow-up, because I'm curious if any of that stuff got answered at any time or anything like that. But just thought I would share that cool story as I just got stabbed by prickers. Look at this. What a beautiful day. Oh my goodness. Hope you're enjoying this hike. Yeah, I want to hear more stories like that. If you've heard anything like that, share it in the comments, or even better, if you want to write something in, I would love to read it, share it with people if you'd be willing to have me share it with people on the channel. I'm just always learning, and I'm fascinated, and such a mystery. I just love hearing stories. Caught my eye because right over here, now that is twisted. That is a flat out twist right there. Wowee. It's like once you see one thing, I mean, I already know where I am here. I'm in a forest that I've explored a few times. This is an area that I have never been. But then you see something like that, that is absolutely twisted. The strength that it would take to do that is off the charts. I could barely twist that thing. I don't even know if I could. It makes you wonder about stuff like that. Tree that's just horizontal, hanging out a few feet off the ground, a little higher there. That's more like 10 feet off the ground. That's about how tall I am. And then here it's just, I don't know if it's part of that tree. It looks like it might be. It's cool away, just hanging there. Kind of doesn't look like it's from there though. Maybe. I don't know. Could that be from that? Maybe. It's interesting, because that's certainly not sawed off, where that is. So it's kind of just propped there though. How interesting is that? How's that even, what's holding that up? I'm not sure. Huh. The only thing I can imagine is holding it up is how it's leaning against that tree and that one there and that one. Maybe it's just pressed against them. There is a monster spider web. Holy cow. Wow. Huh. It's like a branch caught in there at that connection. Notice this really well-defined print here. I don't know if that's a, here's some kind of tapping. Maybe a dog, coyote. I think you can tell by the shape of that part. I forget. I'm not a print expert. And in the meantime, we have broken trees. It's got like the bark scraped off right there. Those are pretty high up. That lower one is probably from the ground 10, 12 feet, and then there's that one. Pretty interesting. Looking at this, the bottom of it doesn't look like it came from there. It actually turns out that it came from there. Wow. The tree between the Y of another one. There's quite a lot going on just to the side, all over the place. So much. It's pretty interesting here. It's kind of subtle. You might just walk by this, but there's a lot of little stuff like over here. Look at that. And that one through those trees. Yeah, those are cool. Like crisscrossed. On the ground there, it's like a, I'm not sure, kind of like an A. I've seen that a few times. That shape. And just in there, just when you look close, there's that from this side. To be honest with you, I walked by this because I just turned around. So didn't even really catch my eye at first. Pretty cool. I've kind of tune into more subtle stuff. Look at that. Into the forest, I'm seeing some less subtle stuff like that break there that you can see. That one's broken up top there. Here's another like top of a tree that looks like it broke from up there, and I always like to take a peek at stuff like that because I often find, look at how that's all split. Look at, nice timing. Thank you, Mother Nature, for the beautiful timing. Look at that. And if you look, you can see that those are tucked under there. It's hard to tell, hard to see. But I zoomed in on a few of those in some recent videos. Look at that. Beautiful. So, looking at that thing that broke up there, man, I have trouble seeing that happen naturally. If it did, maybe they just came over and did some work right here. Or is it possible that they do a break like that so they can do this? I don't really see it being necessary to have a tree this big. Actually, this is a different one than that, so I don't know. Maybe, I don't know how it fell, but I often find stuff like this near stuff like that. That thing is just split down the middle, huh? Okay, so, you know, that looks kind of rotted, so it might have fallen naturally. I don't know. I've said it before, and I think I recorded one like this. I do believe Sasquatch can push a tree over like this. So there's a better view of a little bit more going on there. God, I just love those, especially bends like that that are just, I mean, I was talking about this recently. How does it bend like that? You know, with the younger one like this, it's still freaking, certainly not from, I mean, if this tree fell with enough force to bend that much, it would just snap. But, it's wild. I don't get it. Amazing. Ooh. See, it looks like a couple trees kind of possibly all together, bunched together right there. Center screen. It's not a real definitive one though. I would imagine that once in a while a tree could just start leaning and, oh, there's that. I was hoping to catch that squeak sound. I caught it once on the way down. And for some reason, that and one other time I was hearing a squeak like that. It reminded me of Mike Patterson in that video when the young female Sasquatch was imitating the door creaking. Because you'd think that this creaking would be happening, you know, See if I can catch it once more. Maybe this breeze will do it. Certainly could be a tree creaking. That's what it sounds like. Huh. There it is. Huh. It's definitely interesting timing. You'd think it'd be more rhythmic. Because there wasn't like a significant change in breeze or anything, I don't think. Anyways, glad I caught it. I'm trying to think of the name of the young female Sasquatch with Mike Patterson. What a day. Honestly, haven't had too many nice vantage points like this where you can see a little ways so far on today's hike. It's been really thick. So I thought I would just capture this little... I love just peering down and you can see little ways. A nice break through there, if you can see that. And I just remembered her name. It is Ashantea. I believe it's maybe like the niece of Nefertia. So beautiful, that whole thing. I know some people like to point out to me that it's controversial and some say it's a hoax. I don't know. There's a lot of sincerity in Mike Patterson. Look at that. Oh, so glad I slowed down because I might have walked right by this magnificent little arch with the branch holding it down with that break in the background there, directly back there. And apart from and there's another break. If you can see it, it's not too easy to see. I also heard something. There was my water bottle made a little snap sound, but I think like right before that. Sometimes I'm tuned into something and I don't notice it right away. It's like you hear it in your memory, kind of. In the middle of the path, I'm seeing an A. Of course, you know how it is when you start seeing something. But either way, it's pretty cool. That definitely has a bit of a glyph look to it, I think. I was looking at this from an angle like this way, thinking I saw maybe a bend. I don't think that was, but as I looked closer from this angle, look at that one. I think I'll get on the other side and have another look from there. That's a thing of beauty. I think it'll be clearer from the other side. So this was my first view when I walked past it from a different angle. Kind of off the path a little bit, but what I love is as you get closer, it just gets more intricate, like this right here. There's some old sticks that just look like they were placed there. And then here's the angle where you can really see that. But even there's a little branch on that right there, kind of propped up. And look at this thing. Beautiful. I see that little branch. I can almost reach it. Almost leaning on it, or leaning in it right there. Some more art, huh, Linda? It's beautiful. It's kind of interesting how a few of those branches are all bent right there, connected to that tree. They're all, wow. All sort of tied into that. I gotta take a look at that, because look at that. It's like twisted right there to hold all those in. Are you kidding me? Wow. These are all, look at, they're all like hooked in. How do they all get hooked in like that? Here we are at this angle. Looking at that. Whoa. No way. How this is all twisted. Kind of to get all those tucked in there. Look at them all. They're all tucked in. Wow. That is freaking amazing. So many right there. All bunched together. Taking note of it from a little back, that this one in the front is almost the exact same angle. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. Seeing a little bit more of that, all the branches bent right here. That's cool. And then there's a baby arch, 2 of them. It's like brother and sister. How beautiful. And yeah, they're both sort of locked in by this tree. But that, I started looking at that. Look at all the little, it's got a lot of, it's been twisted, and if you look closer, little breaks in it, twists. Yeah, I just kind of looked at that after the last thing. It's funny how you notice one thing and then you start paying attention to that a little more. Like the A symbol that I've been perceiving, but this was also drawing my attention here. Look at that. It's a perfectly young tree there that just stops right there. And what happened is the tree itself like shredded? Like, what do you call that? Splintered, kind of? Huh. So look at that. That is beautiful and young, and then it just, the top of it's just splintered. And then right behind it is that beautiful break. Wow. You can see kind of maybe something twisted through there, maybe. I don't know if I can focus on that. Is it focusing on that? I mean, there's so much. Standing behind those 2 magnificent little arches, and then that right there. And even there, it's kind of just got a intentional look to it. Those 2 sticks that are going across against that one, which is kind of leaning against another one. And even all that right there. Look at these though. These little ones, man. They just get me. There's that break over there, and there's that shredded treetop, and all that stuff, all in this one spot that I completely walked past. So cool. Directly across the path from that is this. Those 2, I think I saw them. I had to have seen those on the way down. I'm sure. I wouldn't pass up this opportunity. Look at those demonstrations of ungodly strength. And then over this way, a tree with pretty much all the bark peeled. It's kind of leaning up there. Okay, this walk back, this... I'm sure I didn't see that. You have that. You've got those 2 big breaks that way. That just leaning through those 2 trees, and then this. I'm sure I walked by this. Huh. know sometimes cameras don't quite capture what we're seeing, but it's just stunning today. So I want to try to just capture love having the stuff that I can just look back on too. There's that beautiful breeze, nice blue sky, and the sun up there. Isn't that amazing or what? I like to try to capture these just little pieces of nature along with looking for stuff and